Hey everyone, thanks for joining. It's Patty from pspapercrafts, and it's Friday and I have another fun card. It's not really a fun fold, it's more of a technique, and it's called a triple layer card. And I'm showing you today how to make it two different ways. One with stamping, and one, this actually has 4 layers. You can leave that layer off, or you can add it and have a quadruple layer card. So this is with designer series paper. So it's two different kind of ways to do it, but I think they're both pretty cool cards. This one I took the Irresistible Blooms stamp set. I love this stamp set. It's one of my favorites. And I used Berry Burst, Granny Apple Green, and Lemon Lime Twist to make this. And it's really just stamp and cutting paper. It's very easy. You don't need a lot. But I would suggest you have kind of a big stamp and then some smaller filler stamps. And then this one, I use the Citrus Blooms, is that what it is? Mediterranean Blooms designer series paper. And this is one piece, 4x5, yeah, 4x5 1/4, and then you cut it into layers using, I use the decal edge dies. I made this years ago when we had the rectangle stitch dies. We no longer carry them, so as long as you have dies that are nesting, you can make this card. So we'll show you how to do that. And I use the Citrus Blooms stamp set for the sentiment, and then this bow that I added is the Petal Pink and White diagonal trim ribbon combo. Ooh, that's a lot to say. It really is so pretty. It ties really nicely. So, and then on the inside, I don't have anything stamped. These are kind of cards that I don't normally put an inside sentiment on, but you can if you know who you're checking in on or who you're thanking and for what. So these are the cards we're going to make, but with different products. So let me get this all cleared up. I am going to be using some brand new product that I just got from the mini catalog. This is our September to December catalog. I can't show you the inside yet because it's not available unless you're a demonstrator. So it has some really beautiful papers and products for Christmas and, you know, fall type things, and other products as well. And you can start ordering from this, I believe, September 4th in 2024. And if you wanted to get there early, you could always join Stampin' Up! And become a demonstrator. Just going to throw that out there. So let's start with the stamping one. I am going to use the Frozen Edges stamp set with, I'm going to be using the snowflakes. And I love this. Snuggle up and hope for snow. Wishing you a cozy day and let yourself rest. And then this is pretty cool. And it comes in a bundle where you save 10%. And it has these. This one will cut out this stamp, and then it has this nice border. So I think this is really fun. We're not using anything but the stamps today. And we'll get started with that one, and then we'll use different designer series paper for this card. So the first thing we want to do, I've got a lot of piles here, all different things, so let me just clear that out. So I planned on using Night of Navy and then the basic white for this. So the layers, so you're going to have this is my inside layer, so let me put that aside. You're going to have a standard card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and then you're going to score it at 4 1/4. And then you're going to have your first layer. You're going to have 3 white layers, and the first one is 4 by 5 1/4, and then we're going to do 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And you don't have to worry about writing all this down. I do have a project sheet. There's a link below this video, and it's a PDF that you can print out, or you can just bring up online and look at it and follow along. And I'll have all the measurements and the directions and pictures and things like that in there. So these we're going to keep together, and then these are the matte pieces. So this is 3 1/2 by 4 5/8, and then 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. We're just going to put them aside for now, and we are going to get these and just take a little bit of something that's not permanent. I'm using my my Stampin' Seal, And I'm just going to put a little tiny bit on the back of this, just a little bit, because I want to make sure that they're lined up, because we're going to be stamping on all 3 layers at the same time. And we want to make sure they don't move on us. And we'll be able to take that off. That's why I don't want anything permanent, just something that you can remove when you're done. And you don't even have to take it off. You can just, you're going to glue anyway in those areas. So we're just going to put this down like this, make sure it's straight and kind of an even border around. That looks pretty good. Maybe over here a little bit too much. Just get it right. If you take your time on this on this part, it'll go well for you. Okay, and I will get a piece of scrap paper because we're going to stamp off. Now, I haven't stamped with this stamp yet, so we'll see how it goes, how this is going to look. So I have this big one, and then I thought I might fill in with this little one, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm using Balmy Blue for the large, like, grouping of this. And let me just, this is a big stamp. Let me just make sure it looks okay. That's pretty, right? So I thought what we would do is just kind of go in each corner, and we're going to stamp down. And just put it down in each corner, and we'll see how it goes. I'm planning on putting that smaller one in a different color around as well, but I don't know if there'll be room. I didn't make this card ahead of time, so we have to kind of figure it out. Now we want to do the sentiment. So the sentiment I decided to use is the, not the wishing you a cozy day. Where do I have it? I have so many, as I said, so many piles. Let me just find that. I had it with my next card stamps. So let's just do this. We're doing this in Night of Navy, and it says snuggle up and hope for snow. And I don't think I'm going to have room. My idea was to put this around, but I think it might be too busy. What do you think? I think I'm going to just leave it and just have the snuggle up for snow. If I had really smaller ones, I might kind of put them around, but I think this is good. So now what we'll do is take this, and we're going to put the layers behind them. So we're going to just take this off, and we'll add a little bit of, you know, I use the liquid glue. So there is some sticky back here, but it's all good. You don't have to take it off because it's going to be adhered to the layer below it. So now you're going to take your mat. So you're going to start with your smallest, and we're just going to center this on your mat. Okay, and you could have used, or I could have used Balmy Blue for the mats as well, but I really thought I was going to use that other snowflake, but I'm using the sentiment, and I'll probably put some kind of Night of Navy bling on it. So just kind of make sure it's all centered in there. And then this one will go on the card base. So this is a super easy card to make, and I think it turns out pretty cool. It's one of those, how did she do that cards, right? Okay, and now this is going to go on top of here. And you just want to make sure that you don't have it upside down. So you'll see that the pieces go. Like if you had it this way, they wouldn't go. So just be, you know, cautious of how you're laying it down before you adhere it, that you see the stamp continues on from the layer underneath it. Okay, does that make sense? So see, this kind of goes together. And then the same thing with this. We want to make sure that the pieces kind of line up. Isn't that pretty though? I think it's such a fun card. So I'm looking up here and over here and down here just to line it up. Snuggle up for snow. Yeah, I think if we put these others, I think they would be too big. I really wish they had one more size a little bit smaller. I probably have a smaller snowflake because, of course, you know, snowflakes, everybody has snowflake for winter cards. So then on the inside, I thought we would do this other sentiment. And this is wishing you a cozy day. And we'll also do that in the Night of Navy. Let's just try it out first. Looks good. Sometimes the Night of Navy almost looks black to me. It's so dark. I'm going to put it up here a little bit because I thought maybe we could do the that grouping of snowflakes across the bottom. Maybe we could just put that one snowflake up there. We'll see. See how it looks. So we're just going to go off the page a little bit. Fun, right? Wouldn't you love to get this card? Okay, should I put this up here? Yeah, why not? Let's do that in the Night of Navy. It's a pretty snowflake. There we go. And this card is done. Well, let me get some bling out and let's put this down first. And then we're done with the first card. We'll just open this up. Winter will be here before you know it, so enjoy the rest of the summer. At least it's not as hot as it was. It's getting a little bit cooler. Not much, but a little bit. So I thought I would use the opal rounds. They have Night of Navy in there. And just put a couple of them on. We'll put one up here. And I think these are on back order, but they'll be in again. Okay, so that is our first card, the stamped look. So let's get rid of this and all of these. And let's make our next card. And for the next card, we will be using some new designer series paper. I love this. This again is in the catalog. I love birds, so this was right up my alley. This is Nests of Winter. And let me just show it to you because it's not available yet. Again, this is in the new catalog. So here's some birch wood. And look at this. I mean, you could just cut this in half and make some cards with this. I love cardinals in the snow. I think they're just so pretty. Gorgeous, right? So this is the paper we're using, and then we'll use a stamp set. This is a suite, and it comes with the paper, and then there's a stamp set and dies. And the dies will cut out some of these, and then there's this great panel you can cut out and some greenery. And there's also the earth tone shimmer gems. And then there's some baker's twine, copper clay, Night of Navy, and garden green. So this is all in the new catalog. And we are using this sheet. So I have all my pieces cut, but we're going to have to die cut this. So this is the one I decided to use, and I was trying to figure out what color. I almost did copper clay. You could do pumpkin pie. I went with the shaded spruce because that's what's in here. There's also garden green. There's a lot of colors in this, and if you look at the back of your paper, pack, it will tell you all the colors, so you can help, you know, determine what color cardstock you want to use. So this is my inside layer. So now we have a 4 by 5 1/4, and make sure it's directional if it is, that you're doing it in the right way. If you did it the other way, you could make your card, you know, go vertical, but if you wanted it to be a horizontal card, make sure it's that way. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, and then these mats are this is 1 5/8 by 3, 2 3/8 by 3 3/4, and I seem to be missing a piece. Oh no, I'm sorry, I have them wrong. So this is 1 5/8 by 3, 2 3/8 by 3 3/4, 3 1/8 by 4 1/2. And again, all the sizes are in the PDF below. So if you just open that up, you can follow along with the video if you want. So the first thing we're going to do is die cut this. And I am using the deckled edge dies. And you want to kind of figure out which ones to use. And I'm using the largest is too big, and the second largest is too big. So if you look at these, they go way out too far, right? And then this one, the second one in, same thing, not much around it. So I went with the 3rd, and then you want to skip. You don't want to do the 4th, you want to do the 5th. And you could leave it like that, or you can go with the 6th. So that you have like kind of the same around each. So it depends on whether you want to do 4 layers or 3 layers. You could take this out, or you could even, if you wanted big layers, you could take this out, and then you'd have to adjust accordingly. But I'm going to do all 3 of them, just like I did with this lemon card. Okay, so what we're going to do, let me get my machine out. So this is my stamp and cut and emboss machine, and I have my tape. I got this on Amazon. It's just like a Post-it tape. It's not called Post-it. I don't think they make it anymore, but it's that kind of tape. And we're going to just put our piece down on our, we have a base, a number 2, and the number 3 cutting plate. We're going to put this down, and we'll take the largest die, and you just want to center it top to bottom, left to right. And then the next size, we're going to put inside of that. Same thing, you want to have it straight and centered. And then this one, if you're using a 4th layer, right there. So make sure it looks good. And then I just took 2 pieces of this tape, just so it doesn't shift when it goes through. And we're just going to put that down on both sides. Okay, and then we're going to put the top plate on it. And run it through. So it looks like you're using lots of paper, but you're really only using one panel. So let's take this out. We'll get rid of this machine and get our workspace back. Okay, so we'll take this off. And again, you want to make sure you keep your layers in the right direction. I mean, this is an easy one because the birds you want right side up. And then these will go back in here so you don't lose them. And now you have these 4 pieces. Okay, and all we're going to do is add them just like we did with the stamped layer. We're going to just, so see, this one is kind of a cute centerpiece, so you might not want to hide it behind a sentiment. I mean, I'm going to do that, but this could be kind of your focal for it. You know, it's kind of a complete bird. It's cute. I love birds, so right up my alley here. There we go. My mother-in-law is scared to death of birds. She's so funny. I don't know if it was the movie. Remember that movie, The Birds? pretty scary. I don't know what did it, but she's deathly afraid of them. And I just love them. I think they're so pretty. I could sit and watch birds at a bird feeder all day. So we just want to center these on the mats. And all I really did was I measured the designer series paper that I cut. So each of these, I measured it, and then I went up like about 1/4 of an inch for the mats. So if you don't have these dies, but you have some other kind of dies, they're not exactly the same, because these were not exactly, you know, the same, where they would go up the same amount. So I just kind of went with as close as I could without getting into, you know, 1/16 of an inch. So I went with kind of 1/4 of an inch up. It might have been a little bit less or a little bit more. So then this is our card base. Make sure it's open the right way. And your birds are going the right way. I see the bottom here. It's a little tricky with this one. And then we're just going to lay these on, right? And we want to see that everything lines up nicely. So here we go. So simple, but so pretty. I don't know who comes up with these things, but, and I don't know, I think this is a very old technique, so I wouldn't even know where to begin to give credit. I like to give credit to the people who created them, but it's not easy to find out. And then this one. There we go. And then I wanted to do the same kind of thing, which I'm just going to put a sentiment here. You could put a circle, you could put something on the side, something down here, hello, or something like that. I thought I would do a thinking of you and put it right there, right across that pretty bird. And let me see, I'm looking at my stash over here. I think this will work. This is, I always have pieces like this. This is 3/4 of an inch, and we will stamp it in, I guess, shaded spruce. I'm trying to decide whether I should do it in black or shaded spruce. I'll do it in this shaded spruce. And just make sure this is kind of even or straight. Okay. And then we'll just cut it down. I will banner it. And I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. I usually pull out my banner punch. But today I'm going to do it this way. See, I'm never happy with it. That's my problem. I think I went in a little bit too far. Okay, good enough. You don't want to see me do this all day. I have a little straggler there. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut it down. You can use your trimmer if you want. And it does look pretty big. And I thought we would use the same ribbon. The twine is garden green. I just thought we would go kind of with the same ribbon that I used on the other card. Let me just get it out. Put it on the side, because it's really pretty. So it comes in a petal pink and the white. So let's just cut a piece of the white. We'll tie a bow and cut it off. See how nice it ties? We'll just get our scissors. I think think that's okay. Right there. And I did not put it up with dimensionals. I just glued it down. I'm really not liking this. Let me try this again. I'm sorry. I just am not. It's kind of like the middle is not good. And this is why I use my punch. Because I could go all day long doing this and not be happy. See? You'll probably all write a comment as to what I'm doing wrong. Which I love getting comments, so feel free. It's probably a better way. I see other people do it and boom, 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 they're done. There's certain things I struggle with, and that is one of them. Always thinking of you. Let's get a glue dot. And you can put some bling on. I don't think it needs it, but feel free. I think there's kind of a lot going on here. And then let's do the inside. So on the inside, I wanted to stamp and color one of these pretty birds. I'm not going to put a sentiment on. So this one I'll stamp with basic black or black memento, because I am going to color it with Stampin' Blends. So it's good to use a black memento ink. Okay, and I have some colors here. I thought I would do copper clay and crumb cake. And then I have, we'll start with the beak, light pumpkin pie. And we'll just color this in. I have to get a red, either real red or cherry cobbler for the berries. I'll figure that out. I'm going to do the stem, the branch in dark crumb cake. And I might as well do the legs in this too. Okay. And then I thought I would do the light crumb cake kind of for the belly. Oh, this is getting dry. I have to get some new. I use crumb cake a lot, so I thought I would kind of do the belly and then blend it with the light copper clay. We'll see how it looks. So we'll do light copper clay for the body. Usually I do blue and yellow for birds, so this is, I was trying to kind of coordinate with the paper and use those colors. Just get around the beak and the eye. And then I just thought I would get the crumb cake and kind of blend it in a little bit. So it's not such a sharp contrast here. Soften it up a little bit. And then I thought I would do the dark crumb cake. Hope it's not too dark for the wings. Or I'm sorry, the dark copper clay, not crumb cake. I'm not a coloring expert here. I just color like I did when I was a kid. I think that looks pretty good though. Let me just get the red. So I have a dark cherry cobbler for the berries. I think that looks good. I'm wondering if I should color the branch. All of this and I'll probably ruin it. It's very, very narrow. Okay. All right. So I think we're done with that. And then we can just put a little bit of glue on it, put it in the card. Where's the card? Up here. I could have used the pumpkin pie to make it more orange, but I think it looks good. All right, so triple layer cards or quadruple layer cards, 2 different ways. So these are the ones we made today, and these were the samples I showed you earlier. Pretty cool, very easy to make, and I think you could pump these out really if you wanted to just cut all your papers and kind of, you know, sit and make a bunch of them, mass produce. So thanks so much for joining, and have a good week. I'll see you next week.